teach my younger self to observe things not so emotionally or close up, because I almost burned a lot of bridges early on just because I found that I had kind of a short fuse when I thought something came down in a way that was really throwing me off the track, or I was being insulted by something, or I was offended. I'd get offended easily, and I was too much of a hothouse flower to exist. And I think to survive as a film composer, you have to develop a very thick skin. And in my case, I had a big blow up with Tim at the end of Nightmare Before Christmas, and I said I'd never work with him again. And then a year later, I missed him terribly. And I realized it was just a stupid decision. I was over-emotional. And if I could go back to those days, I would say when you feel very emotional, like somebody has said, something went down that made you get very upset or hurt your feelings, to try to back up and look at it through a telescope where you're backing it. And now look at the same picture from a distance and see, does it still feel that important? Is it that important to have a tantrum over, to walk away, to possibly burn the bridge? And 99 out of 100 times the answer would be definitely not. That was just a thing, it happened. It's the kind of thing I should have been angry about for 2 days and then been over. But I was a little bit too, sensitive. And so I learned lessons. And fortunately, Tim felt the same way about me. And 2 years later, he called me and said, "Do you ever want to work together?" Through his producer. And I was on a plane the next day. That was for Mars Attacks. And we just hugged and said, "Let's just reset." And, I've had a number of moments like that. But they could have turned out poorly. And I used to joke with Tim, for example, that Bernard Herrmann and Alfred Hitchcock, which I thought was the most fertile composer-director relationship ever, they had a blow-up over the movie Torn Curtain, and they never spoke again, and he never did another score again. And I thought, what a tragedy. And I said, if we're not careful, we'll end up like that. And we almost did, but then we didn't. And so that would be the lesson. I'd go back and say, when you really feel that feeling, back up and calm down, take a deep breath, and really look at, is it worth, letting things go? And that would have helped me out. But I learned, I learned the hard way.
I know that this probably sounds very monotonous, and I apologize for that. You probably hear it a lot from your fans, but I thank you so much for your influence, allowing me to find the voice that needed to be found at 13. So I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it.